early. The only one that stated it publicly was Donald Trump. There were a few of us in the media when we looked into the lab and we found out they studied coronaviruses. Now we have videos of bats that are flying around that same virology institute, and we knew they were involved in gain of function, and Dr. Fauci knew. So now we're finding out from this defector that in fact all of this was happening and that they were weaponizing viruses in this lab. Do you believe that to be true, Congressman?
Well, Sean, there's a ton of information out there that would make you question what was happening at the Wuhan lab, and I believe that we need to be gathering every bit of intelligence, including what we've had from defectors, and then taking action. Listen, as a biologist, I know when you work with these pathogenic organisms in these labs, you have to take extraordinary care. These organisms are tremendously lethal if they are mishandled. And to have that source there and then all of a sudden say, no, it was a live market, and for China not to allow an open, independent investigation, and for the World Health Organization to essentially be complicit with them and say, oh, by the way, China, you investigate yourself and you tell us what you find. I mean, here we are today, and just as you said earlier, when President Trump said, hey, we need to be looking at this, there's something going on there. When Senator Tom Cotton said, we ought to be looking at this, when others of us said the same thing, we were all dismissed as, oh, this crazy conspiracy theorist. Now what we're seeing is, as intelligence builds and as we see Chinese Communist Party officials really going after folks in the scientific community, all of a sudden you see whistleblowers disappear. You see any journalist there that is willing to report on this all of a sudden be attacked by the Communist Party. There is so much there, I believe, Sean, that needs to come to light. It will only come to light if there's an independent, objective investigation that goes on. And I believe unless that happens, that there needs to be consequences for China. You can't just say, well, we'll have our intelligence community take a look at this and give me a report in 90 days, which is what the president's saying. And then today, Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor, says, well, China could face isolation from the international community. No. This is about the death of 600,000 Americans and 3.4 million people worldwide. This has got to be more than just, oh, we're going to have some isolation for China. This has got to be about strong and decisive action against China, against those Chinese Communist Party officials, about making sure that we go after them, that we sanction them. That's what I believe is going to get things happening. We want to make sure, too, we prohibit any funds from U.S. institutions, colleges, universities from going to the Chinese National Health Commission, which is what was funneling money to the Wuhan lab. I want to know where every penny from any U.S. institution or from any U.S. agency went for gain-of-function research there. There's a lot that I think we don't know about that either. Those things are incredibly important, and I think we ought to be giving kudos to Taiwan, who early on said, hey, look at this, there are issues here. I think we ought to give Taiwan observer status in the World Health Organization. I think they ought to be lifted up because they spoke out early, instead of China, that all they did was seek to cover this up. I mean, there's so many things here that we have to find out about. And if we don't, we are doing not only a